Hello, everybody. This is Paul Neeson with Torah Life Ministries. Thank you. Hello, everybody. This is Paul Neeson with the Real Life Health Show. Thank you for joining me this morning. And this morning, I want to talk a little about how much food we really need. And the sentence could really be, how much food do we really need to thrive? Because I'm currently eating now well, not once a day. I'm eating every other day and striving to eat twice every other day, which comes out to 7 meals a week. And as discussed in the last video, some people decide to eat once a day, which is 7 meals a week. And what is the difference? I discussed that last time of why I'm choosing 2 meals every other day instead of 1 meal a day. But the question this morning comes out to is, how much food do we really need to thrive on just in general? How many calories do we need? And I'm seeing more and more people trying to fit a lot of calories in one meal with this intermittent fasting. And that's not my goal. My goal is the idea of calorie restriction of the highest quality food while eating as little as possible and as less often as possible. So in the last video I made, I got a lot of reply to why I decide to eat twice every other day instead of once a day. And I don't want to call it my struggle, but my progression into eating on the days I do eat just twice a day is coming along. And the days I'm not eating, to either water fast or dry fast versus juice fasting, is something that's in progress. There are some days where I do juice or water fast, where I do water fasting or dry fasting with no problem. But then there are other days where I'm not eating that I'm doing juice still. And some days I try to justify it by saying I'm doing extra activity and running around. And other days I just justify it by I'm in the mood for food, so I'll just do a juice. But even with that, when I do the juice, I'm trying not to do juice with high sugar and trying to do juice with lower sugar. And it's something that's a progress. It's easy for me at this point to go without food as long as I have a sugar juice, whether it be sugar cane or orange juice or something. That's not even a question. It's not difficult for me to fast on water or a dry fast if I keep pretty busy and I don't have my mind on food. And I have no problem doing bitter green juices either. It's just regrouping everything and getting everything in the same consistency of on the days I'm not eating to just completely fast. Dry fasting would be preferable. Water fasting would be next. And then juice fasting with non-sugar foods. And then juice fasting with sweet juices or non-sugar juices, and then juice fasting with just sweeter juices, and then you get into the live foods and the raw foods and so on. You see, there's a progression, and I saw a chart recently that really showed the progression of how it works. And basically, you have the average person eating the standard American diet. Then that person gets a little wiser and they switch to maybe a somewhat healthy diet. Maybe they start thinking about health and they get into something like the paleo diet or something else. Not calling that a healthy diet, but it's healthier than the standard American diet. They might switch from eating processed meat to eating organic free-range meats and so on. Then people get wiser and they take their health to another level and they become a lacto-vegetarian, where they're not eating animals anymore, but they might consume eggs and milk and things like that. Then they get even wiser and healthier, and they switch to a junk food vegetarian diet where they're excluding most of the animals out of their diet. But they're still eating processed junk food. But then they get into a level of eating a somewhat healthier vegetarian diet. They're getting away from the processed foods. Then they take it to another level, and they go to a junk food vegan diet. And then after that, they take it to another level, and now they go to a healthy vegan diet. Then you take it to another level, and now you're going to a raw food diet, a junk food raw food diet. Then you take it to another level, and now you're eating a healthy raw food diet. Then it goes to another level where you're now eating a live food diet. Now, there's no such thing as a junk food live food diet. You're eating a pretty great diet. Then you take it to another level where you start getting into juice fasting with sugar foods. Or actually, before even the fasting, you get into the role of after the vegetarianism, you get into a fruitarian diet. Then after the fruitarian diet, you get into juicing with sweet juices. Then after that, you start juicing with more bitter juices. Then after that, you get into water fasting. Then after water fasting, you get into dry fasting. And that's essentially the highest level versus the standard American diet with the lowest level, and the quality keeps going up and up and up. Now, you cannot go from eating the standard American diet to a dry fast overnight and think that's healthy. It's not healthy. It's almost starvation. But when you do this progression over time, you can get to a place where your body is not having to detox as hard because you've done this over time. And now you could water fast or juice fast longer or more often, and you could eat a raw food diet. So even the person eating a standard American diet, try to put them on a live food diet, they just can't do it overnight or in a short amount of time because their body is not used to it. Their emotional level is not used to it. But when they become used to it, it just becomes like it's very simple. Like, you know your name, you know you're not eating a certain amount of time. So the things that I do now with my diet, I couldn't do in the previous times, and so on. And my friend Dr. Fred Bishy, who's showed me this progression over the years I've known him, and just eating little and being disciplined with your food. It goes just beyond discipline. It goes to what you're able to do and the consistency at it and how often you're able to do it. So for myself, I'm at a place now striving to just not really looking at the amount of food I'm eating or not eating. I don't count calories, but I know how little I am getting, even though I'm not counting them. But I want my body to be able to do what it was designed to do without me interfering with it. And food today is actually, that's what it's doing. It's interfering with the natural processes of the body. We do not need a lot of food once we get back to this point where we're consuming high quality, small amounts of food. And for myself, I'm stuck in this stage where I'm able to eat every other day. I actually started to prefer days I'm not eating over days I'm actually eating. I don't have to think about food. I don't have to think about what I'm making. I feel better. I feel amazing. My body, for the first time in my life, I don't have a gut, and I feel great. And energy level wise, and this is why I say you can't just do it overnight. This energy level wise, there's no way that I would go from a standard American diet to now and have energy to do what I do. But now, because I'm doing it the way I've done it, I have so much of a tremendous amount of energy. On the days I'm not eating, I think I have more energy than the days I am eating. And it's something that's really hard for people to understand and grasp, especially when I go to the gym and I see these guys just stuffing their faces with food before and after the gym, and sometimes even during their workout. And I think I haven't eaten for 24 or 36 hours and I'm exercising like this. I've gotten to a point, folks, where I'm not even desiring to eat. I mean, when I eat, I love to eat, and I got to control myself. That's where I am, where I don't want to eat twice a day. I would love to eat once every other day instead of twice a day. But the days I do eat, I find myself eating a lot more than twice a day. So that's the struggle, or not a struggle, or the progression where I'm at now. But here I am right now. I fasted all day yesterday. Now take it, I did do juice, but I didn't wake up and run to the refrigerator and start looking for food. You know, I've been up now. It's 7:30. I've been up since almost 4:30 for 3 hours now, and I haven't eaten anything yet. And I want to get to a point where I'm doing 2 meals a day, and I'm getting there. And that's it. But now in my progression stage, instead of doing 2 meals a day, I'm just trying to do, if I am eating, I'm trying to eat as light as possible and then save my heavier meal for the end of the day. So I might do something like fruits, fresh fruits for the day. If I eat more than 1 meal, it's just fresh fruit. And then later I'll eat something heavier, like a salad towards later in the afternoon. And everyone's on a different path in terms of where you are in this progression. But that's where I'm at, and it's going really well. I'm happy with my progress. I'm done with the cooked food. I'm done with it. I had a little slip up during a recent moment, but I'm done with it for the most part. And not a desire for cooked food, definitely not a desire to eat 2 meals back to back, quickly right after each other. Juicing helps tremendously, especially on the fasting days where I'm desiring food. Juicing does help. And even when I'm desiring to eat, you see, we're not looking for food as much as sugar. I tell people, if you can do sugar juices or sugar foods, you can go a long time without eating many things. I mean, it's just when you take out the sugar, that's when it becomes challenging. That's when it becomes challenging. Some people have questions for me about how many calories do we really need and calorie restriction. One of my friends online, he's doing an experiment with how many calories he could fit in one meal on a raw food diet. And he's looking at like 4,000 or 5,000 calories in one meal on a raw food diet. I can't tell you for the last maybe 10 or 20 years if I got that many calories in one meal. And I don't know. I haven't seen enough to see the goal or what this fellow's trying to do with that. But I mean, I know I don't count calories, but on average over the years, I've had at least maybe 1,200 calories a day, maybe 1,000 calories a day. That was when I was eating every day. Now, I mean, it's definitely got to be much less than that. And the thing is, I feel great. My weight wise, I've lost over the last 6 months that I've been doing this. I've lost 5 pounds, and it's all on my gut. It's all on my gut. So it's exciting. I believe it's healthy, and I'm going to get my blood work checked to just confirm how it's going and what's going on with it. But I do have to say that in my last video, I spoke about experimenting with minerals and experimenting with this reverse osmosis water versus alkalized water. And I've quickly come up to my opinion about the alkalized water. I just can't do it. I've been doing reverse osmosis water for the last, I don't know, 10 years or so, and love the taste of it. My friend had a machine, alkalizing machine, a really good alkalizing machine. And I filled up a 5-gallon jug with it. And right away, the water just had a taste that's not for me. Some people might like it, but it's not for me. And so I'm going to start experimenting maybe with in the water that I do drink and adding some minerals to that water to see if that'll help it or just help in general. But I've always said water shouldn't be a place where we're getting our minerals. It should be from our food. But I don't want acidic water too either on that same hand. So that I'm running that little experiment on the side there. And on the same hand, I think the best water we've gotten, and I'm starting to discover this more and more, is the water that's found in fresh fruits and vegetables. That's the most alkalizing, nutrient-dense water we can put in our bodies. So instead of drinking more water, I'm juicing more and enjoying juicing more. And that's going great. Yeah, so it's going really well, and I encourage everyone to look up the progression of these things. And Arnold Ehret, the Mucosist Diet Healing System, and also another book called Rational Fasting, were 2 books that I liked a lot, that I remembered from a long time ago, that have helped me a lot with this. And of course, the Daylight Diet is really what kicked this off to make me take things to the next level with the Daylight Diet, because the Daylight Diet is really, where it started for me is getting out of the habit of eating late at night. When you get out of that habit, it makes everything much easier. And I feel so much better when I don't eat late at night. Now, there was a time I went for a long time without eating at all at nighttime, but more lately, because of social issues, I've eaten later at night. But I always feel better. I always sleep better when I eat less. And another thing that I'm noticing that I've discussed on the last video that I made about this was I need less sleep, number one. So needing less sleep, though, and desiring less sleep. I mean, even on 5 hours a night sleep, I have more energy than most people. I don't even want to say most people I know. I'll say that most people in this world. But when I get more sleep than that, look out. I mean, the last couple of nights, I've been getting 7 hours a night sleep, and I absolutely feel so much better for it, and so amazing. And I'm starting to feel when I'm getting by on only 5 hours, I'm starting to feel the difference. So I definitely desire, and I'm working on getting more sleep. You just connected, and every time you go to another level with the diet, you notice it. So when you go from eating animals to going on a vegetarian diet, you notice things different. I mean, it's hard to explain, but you could look at a tree and you could have so much appreciation for a tree. You can't even understand or explain the difference that you didn't even notice before. And not just to treat everything in nature. Now, can you imagine when you take that to a higher level? And the level I'm at now, the appreciation for everything around me is just so open and aware. And I know some people do drugs to actually get this feeling and experience. And I'm telling you, I mean, our creator designed us to be in awe of everything he created. And I feel that way when I look around and I see things and reflect on things. And but I could tell. I mean, I'm human, and I could tell the what I'm getting past now is in the old days, if I was eating a standard American diet and I went a meal with missing one meal, I would just be not the happiest person. And now I can go a certain amount of time without food and just be fine. But I do notice if I go too long without food, I can get to that place as well. So one of the keys to being successful at this is when you are eating, what are you eating? That's one of the keys, because with what I'm eating now, if I'm eating high quality food when I am eating versus raw food, junk food and stuff, if I'm eating higher quality food, live salads and things like this, it's so much easier to fast when I do fast. So that's a big thing I noticed. And and I want to continue to record and my progress here and let people know what's going on. But how much food do we really need? How much food do we really need to thrive? Well, there's different things that matter there in terms of where we're at in our stage with our health, with our disease levels, and our emotional and spiritual state as well. How much food that we really need to thrive. And again, what one is good for one is not good for another. I couldn't do what I'm doing now years ago, and I'm not special. I don't consider myself special that I am able to do this now. It's just I'd rather be healthy than be sick. See, I'd rather be healthy than be sick. And I don't like being sick. I don't like not feeling well. So I motivate myself to do everything I can to build my immune system and help avoid sickness. And the last video I made, I actually had a little cold for the first time in years. And I didn't like it. So it just motivated me to do this even more. And it's great. So I'm feeling good. And the answer is we don't need a lot of food. We definitely don't need a lot. And people say, well, you're not active. So you might not need as much food because you're not active. Folks, listen. I'm as active as anyone I know. I mean, I'm very active and I do a lot, and I feel great. I'm not just sitting home all day doing nothing, and I continue to just learn better ways to do this. Now, I'm going to have tomorrow morning. I'm going to try to do a Q&A, a live Q&A. I'll take your questions now, but I'm not going to do the questions. Well, maybe I'll get into some of the questions now. Why not? Do I drink coffee? No, I do not drink coffee. I've never had a cup of coffee in my life. I do not do any caffeine. I think caffeine is a drug, and I don't think we should do it. I do fermented food, yes. Do you take probiotics? I would take probiotics if I wasn't feeling well. I don't take them on a regular basis. How long do I dry fast for? Usually I'm not fasting if I do fast for more than 36 hours at the time, because I'm just eating every other day. I'm not doing this to fast. I'm doing this to just eat every other day. So if I was fasting, though, I could go longer. But if you are going to do dry fasting, I definitely recommend you speak to somebody or be aware of what's going on before you do it. And I've seen dry fasting help tremendously with many things. But people have got to get to that point, and not everyone's there yet. And that's fine. That's fine. Just start off with the daylight diet, folks. I have a book called The Daylight Diet, Not Eating Late at Night. If you want to eat less, that's where you start off with. Don't eat late at night. Take as long as time as possible before you go to sleep until you eat. That's the place to start. Once you can master that, then you can start experimenting with maybe fasting 1 day a week. I know Brian Clement at the Parkinson's Health Institute told me that a long time ago. He fasted 1 day a week, and you can do it on liquids, juices, or water, and then maybe eventually just water. And then so now you're not eating late at night. You're fasting 1 day a week, and you can, if you're eating healthier foods, try to just eat 2 or 3 times a day, no more than 3 times a day. As that progresses, maybe fast twice a week. As that progresses, continue to take your diet up to the next level, as we discussed in the chart. And then how far can we go? I don't know. I don't know the limits. I know Dr. Fred Bishop eats once a day, and it's not a big meal. He told me about a fellow that he knew that ate once a day a long time ago, but the guy ate so much in that meal, it was like eating for a whole day. I don't think that's healthy either. But Dr. Bishop told me, and I showed me him because I spent time with him. He's almost 90 years old. He eats one meal a day, and he doesn't snack in between, and it's not much. So how much can we go? How far can we take it? And I'm not obtaining to be a breatharian. I'm not desiring to be a breatharian, and I don't even agree with breatharianism at this point in my life. I'm just enjoying the process of not interrupting my body's process with food, because many people look at it as an energy source. I look at it more as a stimulant, and we definitely need nutrients, and we need to get them from our food. That's why I desire the highest quality food, and for me, it's also about improving digestion. And the less we eat and the more scheduled we eat, the better our digestion is going to be. And those are just some of my ideas. So we'll get. I'll post some more videos on my progress with this. If you have questions, please put them below the video. And until then, everybody, have a great day and a great real life.